How's it going, everybody? Session here. Welcome to kind of a DBD overview, just talking about my experiences versus playing, the various killers that we have in the game of Dead by Daylight. And we got ourselves a good old-fashioned fan favorite. I think it's everyone's favorite killer, like Loki. We got Michael Myers, aka the Shape. So easily, without a question of a doubt, in my mind, this is the scariest killer in the entire game, and I love it. I feel like if I had like a really strong sense of excitement of fighting killers, this easily is the killer that takes the cake. Very scary killer, and it's honestly so awesome that the killer is even in this game to begin with. I love it because people honestly think that Myers is a really bad killer, but there's so many things about the killer that just add such a great sense of variety to him that people don't really care that he's like a low tier killer. People just love the fact that he's the scariest killer, and I totally feel that way about him too. It's weird to me though, because I feel like people really do sit down and say that he needs to get better, like he needs to be a better, more stronger killer in comparison to the rest of the cast of killers in the game. But to me, he's honestly kind of in the middle section tier wise as a killer. I think he's like technically like the third worst one out of the bunch. I don't really see where that falls into play or how. I've tried to talk to a lot of people about this. People just really will, and let me know what you think too in the comments, like what you really think about this killer, because like I said, scariest killer. But I feel like if I play this killer, people really have a hard time saying that he's like easily avoidable, because the fear factor kicks in hardcore when he has like his Evil Within 3 and he's running around. His add-ons are extremely powerful for a variety of reasons too, but I understand that people think that like without his add-ons he's not that good, but the thing is that he's not actually that bad. I don't know, I really haven't figured it out, like what the actual thing is about him, because I didn't even realize that his his speed is actually faster than a lot of other people's when he's in Evil Within 1. Like I thought that he just had base speed compared to like everybody else, but he's technically faster than usual in comparison, which is pretty fascinating actually. So, and the thing is too, if when you put it into perspective, all of his perks are all extremely powerful. So it's kind of crazy, because I feel like ever since they did the rework change on Save the Best for Last, everyone uses that perk like crazy because it's just so powerful. They even use Play With Your Food. I see that also like a ton. I see Dying Light like once in a while, but despite the fact that I do, it's honestly like a weird combination to utilize. Dying Light's one of those perks that, like, if you can really play with the perk, then like yeah, the penalty that comes from it is insane. So you got to just learn how to take advantage of what's going on with it. But the whole perk system that he has is just insane. But the power of the killer as well is just really something to just be like fearful of. And it's so insane to me that he starts with 1 and he's completely undetectable, right? Then he has like a reduced speed, then his range is bad, so you got to basically try and get out of 1 as much as possibly can and get into 2, and then his speed gets faster, and then he gets 3, which gets everyone exposed, and then it regresses to 2, and then the radius gets larger, but then also he gets faster, and then he can do stuff quicker, and it's all insane to me. I think that people still, even when they put all these things together, like he's definitely like the perfect killer by concept, because he's like the penultimate like killer from like the serial movie, murder movies, and he's just perfect. But from a DBD standpoint, people strongly don't really feel that way about him. I don't really know exactly what it is, because again, a lot of people have told me that he requires buffs, like a lot of buffs. And I don't want to say that's because like people are like huge fans of Myers and are just disappointed that he's not good. It's really more so because like I feel that he's just a killer that needs apparently just like some help with what they do, whether it's like getting stalking more frequently or being able to move quickly, or going back into like the undetectable or detectable thing, right? Because the hardest part is like once you start to acquire the evil within a bit, then like the radius becomes a commonality thing of his. I don't know, because I feel like I actually end up catching myself being scared by this killer no matter what the way, however the killer is being used. Because a lot of his add-ons too just do a lot of really good things for him, right? To increase his stalk rate or stalking speed or move speed while stalking, right? The lunge attack while you're in evil within 1 is pretty sweet. The duration of evil within 3 is extended by an extra 10 seconds, which is actually a lot of time when you think about it. Getting the speed up when you get to that for the first time is really helpful. People who are stalked for at least a second while in evil 2 are revealed with the aura thing. All these add-ons are there's so many add-ons for this killer to work with and utilize, and it still baffles me that people think that it's not like enough, weirdly, to say the least. So I don't know. I'm trying to see like if I can go through these other add-ons like the pre-purples basically to really figure out like what it is about people that don't say that he's a powerful killer. People think that he's actually very, very like bad as a whole. So the vanity mirror, right? Stalking reveals auras of everybody within 16 meters. You can't get past evil within 2. Right, and then there's a tombstone piece where he gets the ability to kill healthy or injured survivors while in 3, and then drains the power when he kills a survivor, and then getting to that is hard, right? The scratch mirror, which is like I think everyone's fan favorite, the best one to use out of all of his add-ons, where he can see people within 32 meters. I didn't even know it was that far, which is crazy actually. But he can't get past evil within 1, which means that he's always undetectable. Right, and then you've got like the duration of evil within is 40 seconds. That's so long. It's almost 2 minutes long for just being able to be putting people in exposed. And then this one, of course, where he can put people in guaranteed murder. He can just easily mori anybody that he wants to, guaranteed. Is like Judas Tombstone is. See, if anything though, what I will say personally is that this is I hate this add-on the most. I think I hate this one and the other one. What is it? Is it the Tombstone piece? Yeah. I think I see these two combined together usually, because I think as a result you can kill 2 people guaranteed like within a heartbeat. I hate that concept like so much, because like I get it though, right? Because obviously he's slower, and also it takes a really long time for hit to hit evil 3. But the thing is that if people are grouped up together working on a gen, this comes up a lot quicker than you think that it does, even if it's like 200% required more to reach like that mode. Like I remember when I first encountered this and was well aware that this existed, I was very, very, very angry, because it was also in like Leary's where I was trying to outrun him and I couldn't figure out what it was to do it, but all I knew is that I just wanted to kill him in that spot when he killed me first. It was so aggravating. The thing is though, I don't need this to be nerfed or removed or changed or nothing. This is just one of those consequential add-ons that the killer has the capability of using, and I hate it, but I understand the power of it, and it's an iridescent for a reason, so it's a really powerful add-on. I just like hate when I get killed by this first, because the other problem too when you think about it is that like they when he combines this with the tombstone piece, he just kills 2 people straight up. There's only 2 people left and probably like 4 gens to do, so you kind of can't do anything. You got to just give up the game basically. It's a really, really hard challenge to recover from when you have to fight a Myers that's using 2 tombstone pieces that can guarantee murder 2 people on the spot. There's just no way around it. So, and even this one too, I see the tuft of hair when you have unlimited evil 3. I actually like I don't even mind this add-on. I see this once in a while, but when I do though, it's actually pretty sweet. Like the fact that it's a powerful add-on with that purpose is really, really cool. And again, because you know what it is too, this doesn't take away the the sheer power of the killer. It only adds on to it, and it's not like this needs to be nerfed or removed in any capacity. It's just a really powerful add-on along with the Judas Tombstone. But again, I don't hate this one. But again, the majority of players who are playing Myers are playing it for like the KEKW memes where they play Scratch Mirror and they just hide away, and they play around with killers like this one, and they just mess with survivors' brains like so much. And honestly, like I said, I personally love that the most. People who play Scratch Mirror and do that thing that they do to keep him like keeping me on my toes all the time and scaring the crap out of me. My favorite thing to do in Dead by Daylight is play against a mirror Myers who just has the sole purpose of trying to scare the crap out of me every single waking second of the day. It's the best thing ever. It's weird though, because I feel like people think that it's like corny, but it's not though. We're like, DBD is like without a question, like it's a horror game. There's not many killers that really add the fear factor of like silent stalking, as much as this killer does. Because even if like you play a competitive Scratch Mirror build, that build can be lethal. I remember one time I saw somebody playing with Scratch Mirror and Devour and murdered everybody, and it was so easy. It was crazy. But I feel like the Scratch Mirror now, for a community standpoint, has a very like strong place in people's hearts. People love using Scratch Mirror to scare survivors, and that's the better reason to have it versus anything else at all. So I love that people are doing it for that exact purpose. It's actually like I said, my favorite thing ever. So, but like, again, as I kind of go through this killer's add-on kit and build and perks and power usage, I don't really see what it is that people I don't really see what it is that people feel like there's a need to buff this killer. I have not yet figured it out at all. They nerfed the ability for him to be able to survive stalk multiple survivors at once back in 1.2.1e. They buffed his movement speed while in Evil Within 1 during 2.1, which I totally get that. Reducing his footstep audio, I'm so glad that they made that choice a long time ago. And even same thing with like 3.31 buffing his power by giving him undetectable W. The radius being reduced to 0 meters, W, massive W. It not granting immunity from detection, perks of premonition, and spine chill will actually be. It's kind of fascinating that they have this. But again, what's crazy is like I feel like every time I played against a Myers, I've never seen anybody use premonition or spine chill. So like this change as of 3.31 back then, like this was irrelevant because nobody uses those two perks unless you get really lucky and have spine chill. But the change with spine chill now like kind of doesn't really make it like all too helpful. But the power of it, at least for like a detection perk, is great. But for the actual benefits to being seen by the killer is kind of on the iffy scale. But that for the power of the shape is completely irrelevant, so I'm glad about that. I also didn't even know that he was able to stalk during Evil 3. I really did, and I played patch 4.1.2 also. I didn't even know that was a thing he can do. They also don't need to. I get it though, because if you can acquire stalking powers while trying to like approach people, I'm sure like some builds would easily allow you to like as soon as the 3 is gone, you just stalk for like a quarter of a second or a half second and then immediately get re-3'd again. It's a very powerful tool. So nerfing that like totally makes sense, but I want to know where he must have been at the 4.1 point, like before this nerf. I wonder where he was in the tier list as like a killer, because I feel like, again, people put him at the bottom of the barrel right now, but I feel like he's in the middle. Like he's not top tier, but he's not like bottom tiered. So I don't know. Like I said, something about him is really, it's really weird to me to hear that people think that he's a very bad killer. And then apparently as of like 5.7, they tweaked some values related to stalking, since they did like a technical rework, which is whatever. So, but yeah, I don't know. People think that people think he's bad. I don't know what it is. I think that he's honestly like one of the most amazing killers to have in the game. I just hate that like he's the scariest man in the building. So I don't even think that like I said, I feel like if people think that he needs a buff, then like go for it. I just don't ever want them to take away the whole scratch mirrors scary concept. Honestly, even better yet, I would rather they buff that aspect where he's able to be I would love for them to figure out ways to play with his tier 1 more so than they already do now. Even if they got to do something with like the scratch mirrors also, just to make it not better, but just anything to allow him to be scarier even more so than he is now would be a huge W to me. If I had to really think about it, I would say like quality of life changes will probably be the thing that's necessary for him to like thrive conceptually to be scarier. But he's literally like the #1 scariest killer in the entire game, and I love that. So let me know in the comments what you think, whether he needs like a buff or a rework or a nerf or whatever that it is for that matter. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. See you guys on the next overview. Peace out.